Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining another Ready to Ride Pilates for Horse Riders, where today we are going to be working on your upper body control. Obviously we need to be working on the whole of your body, we need to be working on your seat and so on, but having good strong muscles around your upper body, around your shoulders is going to really help you have that nice light and consistent contact. So we're just going to set you up before we start, thinking about your posture, making sure you've got equal weight through both of your seat bones where you are sat, and that nice elastic spine drawing you up tall out through the top of your head. Then we're going to turn your head from side to side, making sure that your eyes stay level as you turn. So you want to avoid dipping down as you turn. That alters the weight of your head. It's also actually just not so good for the joints in your neck. So keep your eyes as level as you can all the way through the turn. If you're a little bit stiff, don't worry. Gradually see if you can go a little bit further. Then pop your arms across your chest. We're going to do exactly the same thing for the whole of your spine this time. And now, as well as keeping your eyes level, you want to work on keeping your shoulders level and also focus on the weight that you can feel through your seat bones, because a lot of us will tend to collapse, particularly one side, down onto the seat bone, and we all know what that means when it comes to the aids and information you're giving your horse. It's very confusing, it also blocks you through that side of the body. So try to really focus, although this is a little warm up, focus on having that equal weight and level body before you even get started. Okay, we're now going to turn onto your front, so we're going to do your cobra exercise. So I would like you to lie with your arms out to the side, elbows to about 90 degrees. For you guys at home, you want to be looking straight ahead. I'm looking to the side so that you can see me. So you want to be looking more straight ahead, straight down at the mat rather. And you're going to slide your nose forwards and then up. So you're looking straight ahead, doing your best cobra impression. And then straight down and scoop back in. So I'm now going to do it without talking so that you can see the full exercise. If you find you want to make it a little bit bigger, slightly straighten your arms, and it's the same thing again, but what you should find is that you come up onto your hands, and then again come back down. Now the key here is to be doing scooping and then straight up, then straight down and scoop back in. You almost want to feel like you're drawing a J shape with your nose, and as you're doing the movement, try to feel that you're moving every single vertebrae one at a time, all the way up and all the way back down. A couple more. Last one. Okay, then if you had your arms slightly out, bring them back in so that your arms are out to the side and elbows are bent to 90 degrees. And we're going to do your swan dive. I'll start you with the slightly easier version and then you can move on to the harder version if you are happy. Whichever version you are doing, think shoulder blades back and down, so the front of your shoulders should pull away from the floor. Lift your tummy away from that imaginary puddle of water underneath you and bring your pelvic floor lift onto floor 3. And then you're just going to lift your head and neck just off the floor and slowly back down. Check. Shoulder blades are back and down, tummy is away from the puddle, pelvic floor is onto floor 3, and off you go again. So keep the movement pretty small. You don't want to be trying to come up here. You want to just keep it small so that you can make sure it's your head and neck on their own. Now if you want to make it harder, add in your upper body. So it's same start up, but you're lifting arms, head and neck all together. Keeping that movement small. Watch that your elbows don't lead the way and come down last. I often see people doing this. Try to keep the whole of that arms, head and neck part of you moving just as one unit. Keep the tummy away from the puddle of water. If you're starting to get tired, you might find that you're sinking down and starting to do that. We try and avoid that if you can. Keep the pelvic floor onto floor 3. We're going to do 2 more. Okay, good job. Then I'd like you to prop up onto your forearms, and we're going to move on to an exercise called the leg pull. So for this one, don't worry too much about setting up through the top half of your body. It's more just keeping your pelvic floor onto floor 3. And make sure your breathing is nice and regular as you lift your pelvis and then slowly back down. So let's check your pelvic floor, lift your pelvis, and slowly back down. You'll probably find with this, it's not just your shoulders that are working, but also you'll feel it through your tummy muscles. A couple more, just like this. Okay, then we're going to make it a little bit harder. So you need to tuck your toes underneath your feet. And for the next level, you can do it in two ways. You can do pelvic floor, then lift the knees, lift pelvis, lift the knees, lower the knees, lower the pelvis. Or you can go pelvic floor and just lift everything all in one go, and then bring everything back down together. It's entirely up to you which you feel works best for you, as long as your end result is that you are basically a straight line, so you're basically doing a plank when you get to the top. Don't worry at all about trying to hold your plank position. It is not a remotely functional position at all. What we're looking for here is your control getting up there and getting back down again, making sure that your shoulder blade muscles are really keeping you strong, that you're not collapsing as you go up into that movement, and making sure that your pelvic floor stays working and that your breathing stays nice and steady. A couple more. I'm going to do one last one. Okay, then I'd like to come up into sitting, and we're going to do similar version in sitting. For this, you need to have your arms out behind you. If you've got dodgy wrists, you may find this is a step too far. If so, just doing a few of your hip twist exercises in this position is a good little exercise to do in the meantime while we move on through. So otherwise, hands out behind you. They need to be far enough out behind so you've got somewhere to move to. Pelvic floor onto floor 3, and you'll open your hips like a hinge, and then slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor, open like a hinge, and slowly back down. Keep the movement smooth all the way up, smooth all the way down. Make sure your breathing is nice and steady. Once again, you don't need to hold that position, particularly not for this version anyway. It's more about the control up and the control back down again. Do a couple more. Keep them nice and smooth and steady. Regular breathing. Pelvic floor onto floor 3. Good job. Okay, and then we're going to go onto your hands and knees. And there's another version of this exercise on your hands and knees. So you need to start with your toes tucked underneath your feet once again. Hands just in front of your shoulders, knees approximately underneath your hips. Level-ish spine, pelvic floor onto floor 3. And you're going to lift your knees and slowly back down. And the key with this is to keep the lift fairly small. I'm going maybe 3, maybe 4 inches maximum. What you don't want to be doing is lifting right up here. This is all about just a subtle weight transfers, and again you will feel it in your abdominals as well as around your shoulders. Once again, if your wrists are finding this a bit tricky, you might want to modify it, so some people find it easier to go like that. Just do what works best for your body. Okay, we're going to make it a little bit harder though, so you need to have your hands slightly further in front of you. This time you're going to go pelvic floor, lift, and then straight forward. So you want to once again be in a straight line-ish from shoulders, hips to knees, back over the knees, and down. So it's pelvic floor lift, forwards, back over and down. The two things I tend to see people doing, instead of going up, or they also sink downwards into kind of a glorified cobra, we want to be going up, forwards, back over and down. Try to keep the movement smooth. Once again, it's not about holding any of these positions for any great length of time. That's not functional. Riding isn't about being fixed and rigid. It's about smoothly moving from one position to another, using your muscles through different ranges of movement, through different positions. Do one more. Okay, good job. Tuck your toes, or take them back out from the tuck position underneath you. And we're going to finish off with a nice stretching and moving exercise, but also it's a really good strengthening exercise for your shoulder as well. So what you're going to do is take one arm up, apologies if my hand disappears off your screen, and then take the arm through and underneath. Pop that hand back down. Same with the other arm, so you're reaching up, look at your hand, reach down and through. So you're going to alternate between left and right. Look at your hand the whole way up. It's a brilliant rotation for your whole spine as well. Down and through and under. The second part is called threading the needle, hopefully for obvious reasons. But this is a great strength exercise for the arm that you are staying weight bearing on, but also for your shoulder muscles on the side that is doing the lift, because you're taking the arm right up into its end range position there. Great exercise. One more each way. Last one. Good job. Okay, then rest your bottom back down onto your heels. Take your arms out in front for a good big stretch. If you can't quite get your bottom onto your heels, don't worry. A couple of nice big breaths. And then bring your hands back up towards your knees. And we're going to come back up into sitting. So we're going to finish there. You've worked really hard. Some of those exercises are really quite challenging. If you have got sore wrists, I do apologise if any of those have irritated them, but if you come to this again, just maybe go straight into that, onto your knuckles position instead, but hopefully it wasn't too much of that for you. It's always good to make sure your upper body is strong. Just think all the things you do off the horse which require good upper body strength too. So this is a really beneficial session, even if you aren't doing that much in the way of competing at the moment. It's really useful for all your off-horse work as well. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful. Any comments always appreciated, and take care, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye.